What is up, guys? Welcome to the Armored Core full series tier list. So, over the last, I don't know, 7 months, we've been going through and playing every Armored Core game front to back. I played Armored Core 1 as a little kid, played Armored Core 3 as a little kid, then didn't play anything until I wrapped back around and played Armored Core again on stream. We're already getting a 9-breaker S tier. Relax. 9-breaker has a tier. It might be that bottom one. I don't know yet. I should have flipped the color scheme for the palette, but it doesn't matter. Red's my favorite color, so S tier can be red. So we played every game in the series back to back. We just finished Verdict Day like a week ago, and I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of opinions on all of these games. And up front, let me just say this: playing this series was a joy. I love fucking mecha. Fucking robots, big robot go burr, and I've played, and Armored Core is one of the OG introductions to mecha for me. Like, I played Armored Core 1 as a kid, and I watched Gundam Wing, and that got me into big robots, you know. So I have a lot of fondness and a lot of nostalgia with this series, especially. Armored Core 3 is my biggest nostalgia trip, though. I love fucking robots. Not that way. I don't think that would work. Not yet, at least. 9-breaker, you'd fail tier for sure. It's the only game we own, but it's not well liked among the community. There's a reason for that. Quick penny quote it. Chicks dig giant robots. Hell yeah, they do. I don't think they do, though. I dig giant robots, though. That's true. Megas XLR time. Wait, what? The what? Okay, so I think we should start the tier list with the OG. We're gonna go in order. I think I laid these out in order. So I think it went Formula Front, 9-breaker, then Last Raven. So I think we're good. That's the only weirdness, is when Nexus and all these games come out here. Formula Front might be before Nexus, but I think it's after. It's okay either way, though. I never watched that show before. What have you guys? Bitches love cannons. Hell yeah. So Armored Core 1, the OG. Fucking 9-ball, dude. It has arguably the best garage track in the series. And right now, if you're watching this on YouTube or on stream and you're not aware, we're listening to Frequency right now, which essentially is the Armored Core soundtrack, is what we're listening to from across the different games. So Armored Core 1. So nostalgia aside, I mean, it's the progenitor to the entire series, right? It's the best, it started it all. And we still make 9-ball quotes today. Like 9-ball, that started the big bad. It gave the groundwork for corporations and the greed and the interplay between the corporations and the people, and living underground and all those things that are tied in throughout all of the series. Fell. Just throw it in fell tier. So I think for Armored Core 1, I'm going with A tier. And I want you guys to know, I did not decide this beforehand. I'm deciding right now for the first time what tier these games are going to be. So what becomes interesting now for Armored Core, Project Fantasma, and Master of Arena, they are essentially expansions to Armored Core 1. And we're going to see that repeat over here with Armored Core 3 and Silent Line. But Armored Core Project Fantasma introduced our cartoon bad guy Stinger, who, you know, is a fun character. He's the most cartoony bad guy in the series, I think. Can we run a poll for Armored Core Friendship Edition when it comes to it? We can run it right now. I'll run a poll right now for you. Let me see. Start prediction. Let me see here. How do I do this? Streamer doesn't know how to use streamer tools. There we go. Okay. So we can add a couple. Let's see. S, A, B, C, D, fell. And we'll call it AC or answer tier. And you guys can go and vote on this. And we'll make the submission period 10 minutes. There. Got it. There you go. Go ahead and vote, guys. So, with Project Fantasma, they expand on Armored Core 1. They add more parts. They add Stinger. They added the rainbow beam attack. I think that's the first time the finger weapon is introduced as well, with with way too much ammo, and becomes actually pretty much game breaking. I I think for Project Fantasma, I mean, overall, I enjoyed it when I played it. We did it pretty quick because it's a pretty short game, which is really its only downfall is it's pretty short, but so is Armored Core 1. They're PS1 games at the end of the day, right? So I think Project Fantasma, I'm going to give a B rank to. Again, I enjoyed the game, mostly just an Armored Core 1 expansion, but it was enjoyable nonetheless. You learn about Human Plus more. I believe you can only get Human Plus in Armored Core 1. You have to carry it over to Project Fantasma and Master of Arena. Don't quote me on that. Someone might know better than me. We carried it over, obviously, when we did it. But it goes into more lore that you find out about in Armored Core 1. Like, you know Human Plus is a thing. You don't know a lot about it. So you get a little more information on there and how it ties in with Stinger and everything. And what he's doing. And you get, obviously, like I said, the Rainbow Attack boss fight, which is always fun. It's really easy, but it's fun. Now, moving on to Master of Arena. I have thoughts on this game because it is one of the most, I think out of the entire series, Master of Arena may have frustrated me the most. And let me explain. So, the high point of Master of Arena is it introduces one of the coolest boss fights in the entire series, which is 9-Ball Seraph. Commencing hostilities, right? I loved that fight. 9-Ball Seraph is fucking sick. Learning about 9-Ball and getting more into that lore was super cool. But the challenge mode, that is what got me. When you do the challenge arenas, the Master Arena and the one where you play against the mechs from the competition they had, the real people made. So what the arena essentially devolved into for me was playing on the garage map and spamming Blade Wave to kill every enemy. Because every enemy has Human Plus, and they also do the same to you. And in Gen 1, Moonlight Blade Wave will kill you in probably 2 hits. So it's pretty dramatic. Now, the Master Arena also had the rocket arms, the busted part that is a rapid-fire lock-on rocket launcher on both arms that fires like a machine gun that literally deletes you. The only way we beat that fight was to accidentally have them fall out of bounds randomly, which works, you know, so can't really complain about that. But so it's hard for me to tier Master of Arena out of all of these games because on the one hand, the story mode was incredible. I loved playing through the story and the twists and turns with a couple of missions that are in it. And then ultimately fighting 9-Ball Seraph, who is one of the coolest bosses in the game. Or big bads, we'll call them. And so, I think with that being said, it's hard to ignore 9-Ball Seraph. I think that I'm going to throw Master of Arena at B tier with Project Fantasma. Story mode expands on Armored Core 1. Master of Arena, 9-Ball Seraph, exponentially cooler than Stinger by all accounts, because 9-Ball, right? AC Big Bad Boss tier list after, we could definitely make that at some point. That would be good. That's actually a good idea, Brendan. But I think Master of Arena deserves a B, and I think that's a fair rating. So moving on to Armored Core 2. Now, Armored Core 2 was a lot of fun. It brings you closer to what Gen 3 ends up being, right? It's Gen 2 technically, I think. What's up, Cookie? If none land in Felt here, you're gonna believe. Hey, I put it there for a reason. You'd be an observer in both this and the other one. You don't have any opinions on AC. So Armored Core 2, you go to Mars, right? That's cool. What's up, Dirk Dunk? How are you? So we go to Mars. There's bugs. Oh, another thing. Armored Core 1 introduced the bug mechanic. Big bugs attacking you. Incredible. Loved it. Project Fantasma and Master of Arena didn't have bugs in it. Big negative for them. Do you remember? So I'm scared. Will we blow a hole in Mars? So we have disorder units, which are they're kind of space bugs. We'll call them like space bug AI things, whatever. We have Leos Klein, who is I believe Leos Klein is considered to be the protagonist of Armored Core 1, which is really cool. The gameplay takes leaps and bounds, aesthetically and just the way the game feels from Gen 1, which is what you want in a sequel, right? I think that, I mean, overall the game is really fun. It has the arena in it, which is obviously one of my favorite things about Armored Core. I mean, overall, I played Armored Core 2 twice. Like, it's a good game. I liked it. I think that Armored Core 2 doesn't deserve a C. But I don't know if it deserves a B either. That's the hard part. Leo's client. Oh, Master of Arena protagonist. Thank you, Benifer. So, Dirk Donk, you just moved yourself across the country. You like the new gameplay footage? I do like it, Dirk Donk. I'm happy with it. Raven, what is it that you desire? So, I think for Armored Core 2, I think it deserves... See, I like Armored Core 2, but I almost don't feel like it deserves a B. You know, let me do something here. I think Master of Arena, we're going to move down to C. I think these are going to go to C tier. And 2 will go to B tier. Because they're good enough. The one thing that holds up Master of Arena to me is 9-Ball Seraph. Because at the end of the day, they are just expansions. That's why it's hard. You know, full Souls-lock Doomer train. Yeah, hell yeah. Game looks fun. Exactly. Why C or B? So Armored Core 2 does a lot for the series, right? It brings it forward to the next generation, literally, Gen 2. And, you know, it's closer akin to Gen 3 combat, which is what my favorite is, so... Project Fantasma and Master of Arena's weaknesses, they aren't AC1, to be honest. Right. Right. So Master of Arena, the biggest thing with Master of Arena, we're kind of backtracking, is the 9-Ball Seraph fight. Like, that holds it up. In all honesty, without the Human Plus stuff, Project Fantasma is kind of forgettable. But anyways, let's move on to Armored Core 2, Another Age, which I've heard gets a lot of shit. And there is like there's not really a cohesive story. Well, there's not a cohesive story in a lot of Armored Core games. But what I really enjoyed Another Age because it expands on Armored Core 2, which is good. But it also goes into way more depth with the mission style. You know what I mean? Like, Another Age has so many different variations on missions. Like, I didn't get bored. There's like a shit ton of missions in that game, and I enjoyed the entire time. And also, you get to fight Stinger in AC form and in other form, like floaty boy form, whatever that's called. I don't remember the name of it. And also, you get to fight 9-Ball. I don't think you fight Seraph, right? You just fight 9-Ball. Or do you fight Seraph as well? I don't remember. Mobile armor form, yeah, we can go with that. But I think that Another Age is really good. Wave Rider, that's better. I liked Another Age. I feel like it gets overlooked for no reason. Hold on, what is playing right now? Oh, it's Thinker. Good. So I think Another Age, for giving you throwbacks to Master of Arena and Project Fantasma and Armored Core 1, at the end of the day, it expands on Armored Core 2, but I don't think it quite hits you narratively like Armored Core 2 does. I think we're gonna put it at C tier. I really liked it, but I think that if they would have made a more cohesive story, it would deserve a better rate. Right, 2 and Another Age are a good send-off to Generation 1. And now, all right, so remember, I'm a little biased here, which is, it's my tier list, right? We move on to arguably the epitome of Armored Core 3. Now, Armored Core 3 is essentially a reboot of the series. It's like a similar story to Armored Core 1 without 9-Ball, sadly. I grew up playing this game. I love this game. I love the story in this game. I love the designs in this game. It has probably the best fucking opening out of any Armored Core game. I could literally watch it over and over again right now. Which, we should cover that. Every Armored Core has a good opening. Armored Core 3, easily, without a doubt in my mind, S tier. Every time. No argument. Like, I don't care what you have to say about it. It's S tier for me always. And there's nostalgia built into that, along with just the game is good. Like, it's balanced. Everything feels good. You know, Armored Core opening tier list. We should do that too. We could do that too. But I really have nothing else to say about Armored Core 3. Like, it's my favorite game out of the series. Like, music, incredible soundtrack, good narrative. Lane Myers is dope. That's your operator. The controller conceptually is a cool bad guy. Exile is a cool final fight in the arena. Everything about it. It has Apple Boy. Apple Boy is best boy, and you take him with you on missions, and then you take him into the duel arena with you, and you kick ass. Like, what more could you want from an Armored Core game? Is what I'm saying. You know. Stinger's mobile armor is literally called Fantasma. Oh, okay, there we go. The goat Apple Boy. You literally start the first mission with Apple Boy, and I brought him through every mission, and he fought with me all the way through the arena to rank 1 of the duel arena. Apple Boy the goat. All right, so with that all being said, that's all I had to say about Armored Core 3. Love it, ship it, sell it, buy it, play it. No dual analog sticks yet. We're not to that era yet. We're getting there. All right, so next up is Armored Core Silent Line. What Armored Core Silent Line really is again, an expansion to Armored Core 3. But it also mechanically improves the game and adds parts to the game, and overall the story of Silent Line is very akin to Armored Core 3. The game is very short, but it just improves on everything of Armored Core 3. So I played Silent Line when I was younger too. I like rented it from a game store. 3-bit better, S+, no. Silent Line's biggest shortcoming is that it's not a full game. It's short, you know, it's a small game compared to 3. It does a lot of things good, but you know, the Ibis is not as cool of a bad guy. Aesthetically cool looking bad guy, kind of similar to Seraph in some aspects, but it's not as like, there's not this overarching sense of doom that you had with like what's going on with Layered, you know what I mean? You love Silent Line's mystery. I like the idea too. You're gonna go back and play Silent Line Last Raven after you finish Verdict Day. You skipped because you got burned out at the time. That makes sense. I think that, in my opinion, Silent Line deserves a B. Overall, I enjoyed it because, again, these two games are essentially the same game, with improvements on Silent Line over some things in 3. But at the end of the day, it's not 3. So I think that I'm gonna leave it at B tier. So up next is another hotly debated game, Armored Core Nexus. So Armored Core Nexus's biggest attribute is that dual analog sticks are a thing now. Silent Line is better than S tier game, B tier. I don't think it's better in some ways. Like they expand on 3, Cookie. So they give you more parts and stuff, but there are definitely shortcomings of Silent Line. I think from a PvP perspective, which I never really did, Silent Line would be the preferred game to play over 3 because, again, more parts and some variations there. Don't give me that face. No sus. No sus. Anyways, moving on to Armored Core Nexus. Dual analog stick support changes your gameplay completely. Yes, very good improvement. Heat mechanic, not balanced at all, especially to a new player. You'll have a really hard time playing the game. And once you get your build locked down though, and how you want to handle it and how you handle the heat, not as bad. But the mechanic definitely needed tuning for the game. I mean, but overall, Nexus was fun. I didn't enjoy Nexus that much on my first playthrough, but I will say on a second playthrough of the game, I enjoyed it a lot more. Like, a lot more. So I think with Armored Core Nexus, it tells a good story. It's a precursor to Last Raven. It has a cool ending, like fade to black cutscene, which I think is really cool. I enjoy that. Like, if you ever played Halo Reach has a like fade to black at the end of the game. Like, you don't really know what happens, but you know what happens. Same with Nexus. And again, that's the precursor to Last Raven. You meet some characters in there that randomly change voice actors, which is awkward. Also, this is actually going to pull Nexus up a little bit. It has the best opening song, fucking Shining. Best song, arguably, in all of Armored Core. So I think Armored Core Nexus, with all that being said, and moving forward in the generation, it has a weird. I think that it deserves B tier. I like it more than second playthrough definitely changed my opinion of the game. You have to fight him on that opening song a bit, yeah. I think that the Nexus on a second playthrough changed my opinion of the game. Originally, I probably would have said that it was probably C tier, but I ended up enjoying it a lot more on my second playthrough, and I think that's partially due to being better at playing that version of Gen 3 games. So I think that it deserves a solid B tier. if not just because Shining is the opening is really good. All right, next up, we have Armored Core Formula Front. So this was an awkward game for me. I like the idea. So the idea behind Formula Front is you build an AC and the AI pilots the AC and you tune the AI to do what you want it to do. There are manual controls. They suck though. We're going to discuss Ninebreaker when we get there. Formula Front, it takes like an F1 style to Armored Core. Like you're on a team and like you build your AC with your team and you go to the competition, you fight other ACs. Like it's very happy. The environment of Formula Front is very happy, which is weird because Armored Core is usually like depressing, sad, like shit's not going well for people. We're not happy, like we're dying, you know, we're controlled by an AI. This is like the opposite side of things. This is like going to a football game. Yeah, it's they're grimdark, exactly. You play a pit crew member, not the pilot. Right, exactly, Ronan. So, well, like the lead designer of the AC. So I guess you're on the pit crew, but you're like the lead person, right? It's like if you built the car that the driver in NASCAR would drive, or an F1. Formula Front there's good music in it. I didn't really like not being able to pilot my AC. I wasn't great at the AI controls, which is a me problem, I guess, but you know, I think it was fun for what it was, but I don't think that I can in good faith give it better than a C. And I almost think that Formula Front is gonna sit at D tier for me. So basically how I'm breaking this down is, okay, C and up, I'll play it again. I'm more than happy to play it again. I don't think I'm ever gonna play Formula Front again. I think it one and done for me for this game. Armored Core Formula Front is like Gundam Build Fighters. Yeah, similar to that kind of, in a way. Except in Build Fighters, a lot of the builders also pilot or control their mech, whereas in this, you don't do that. I guess you can technically, but like I said, the controls are really bad for it. Gundam Game Tier List 1, we can do one of those. Zeonic Front is at the top. So, with that being said with Formula Front, I think it's a D tier for me. It's a cool idea. For me personally, it didn't hit the way I was hoping it would. So I think we give Formula Front a D and we call it a day right there. Next up, Armored Core Ninebreaker. I don't know what the fuck this is. I'll tell you right now, it wasn't necessarily fun. It was kind of a chore to get through. Great songs in it though. S tier, instant S tier for you, Cookie. For streamer frustration, it should get an S tier. From the vid you've seen of the Ninebreaker fail. So with Ninebreaker, like all right, so you're essentially in a training simulator or a training program, and you know you do all the training courses, and there's an arena in it. In a way, it's an arena at the end of the day, which is fine. The arena is enjoyable. Arenas are always enjoyable. For streamer frustration, it gets an S. Yeah, I think it's yeah. The biggest redeeming part of Ninebreaker, honestly, for me, was the 9-ball fight. That if you complete everything, you can fight 9-ball at the end in Gen 3 style, which is cool. I do like that part of it. And so I think what Ninebreaker really was meant to be was a step between Nexus and Last Raven that balanced for PvP. You know, so if you're a big PvPer, you might like Ninebreaker, but you're probably gonna play Last Raven instead. But when Ninebreaker came out, that was probably good for you if you did a lot of PvP. But with the 9-ball fight, 9-ball again didn't play by the game's mechanics, which made the fight really hard in like a good and satisfying way, but it was again frustrating also at the same time. It was cool to see 9-ball in the game and like his new look. But I think overall, Ninebreaker is a game that most people, that if they're not making a series on it, probably would never finish, because you're like, what the fuck am I doing just doing these training courses? I think maybe also Ninebreaker was meant to be preparing you for Last Raven in some way, perhaps. Or they couldn't finish it and they ran out of production money and they released the game. Also possible. I don't know the history necessarily, but I think Ninebreaker, sadly, is our fail tier game. Rip Ninebreaker. S rank rushdown PvP meta. Yeah, I think I'm never gonna play Ninebreaker again. It was cool to experience it and do it. Same as Formula Front, but at least Formula Front had a reason to go back and play it. I need a drink. I'm gonna die over here. Verdict Day fell tier. That's a hot take for me. What an upset. Yeah, I think everyone saw that coming, sadly. But yeah, I mean, so I think Ninebreaker is sadly at the fail tier. And moving on now to Armored Core Last Raven. Holy crap. We talk about Pinnacle Armored Core. This is Pinnacle Armored Core right here. Last Raven is by far the best Armored Core game. Removing nostalgia, Last Raven's the best game in the series, in my opinion. It has a good storyline. Like, it adds some more cutscenes and some more dialogue with characters. Like, the combat's super satisfying. The aesthetic is really cool. The world is really cool you're in. I don't know how you do all that shit in 24 hours that you do. Apparently, your pilot must be hopped up on some kind of stimulant because they're awake and alert during all this and don't die. At least in theory, they don't die. I mean, there's nothing bad. Last Raven just takes everything they from software learned from Armored Core 1 through Ninebreaker and makes it better. The game feels good. It feels balanced. Like, once you get the feel for it, like, the game just feels really good to play. Last Raven protagonist on that stimulant, he must be, or they must be. Imagine if AC Last Raven became in either an anime or live action. Maybe that's how you make the... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if Last Raven would be a perfect example of taking an Armored Core story and porting and making it into an anime. There's so many memorable characters. You have Zenaida, best fight in the game. You have Zenaida, first off. You got Jacko, fucking Chado, as they call him. He has a cereal brand. You have, I mean, those are the two big ones, really. You have Sheila, the operator, good operator. She gets pissed off all the time. I love it. You have the pulverizer mechanic to it, like Evangel. Yeah, Evangel's in there too. He's good too, I guess. He wants to be a dominant. You have new types too. Dominants, or I'm gonna call them new types for lack of a better way of calling them anything else. You have the pulverizers. You have the secret pulverizer battle for the reward for doing every mission in the game. You have multiple routes that change the ending of the game. You know, like, so many things like of that nature are just so good. Hold on, I'm changing the song. Let's see where we at here. Let's go over to this album and do this. This is my favorite Armored Core song. It's called Sunrise. But everything about Last Raven was good. I enjoyed it so much. I did some build. We did the build stream. We did all kinds of great stuff with the game. Like, obviously, as you can tell what I'm saying already, Armored Core Last Raven S tier instantly. No question in my mind. It deserves to be right up there with Armored Core 3 for me. 3's nostalgia is always going to hold it up for me. Last Raven, though, pinnacle Armored Core, or peak Armored Core, the pinnacle of Armored Core. You always hated the new types in Gundam? Yeah, I can see why, though. You mean they're more memorable to us, but to a random audience? So, the characters, you mean, Artificial Soul? I think the characters in Last Raven have more personality than previous generations of games to make them more memorable, especially because you fight them. And if you read their dialogue, you know, and the mission prompts and stuff, I think that makes them the most memorable Armored Core characters across the entire franchise, in my opinion. So, that ends Gen 1 through 3 of Armored Core on the tier list. Pretty standard tier list right now. I think there's no surprises here, really. So moving on to Generation 4, Armored Core 4. Well, let's start off with the bad. The PS3 runs at 5 frames per second when you play this game most of the time. Unfortunate, sadly, for the game. I do like Gen 4, or Armored Core 4, and Generation 4 in general. I like Fiona. I like the Anatolia Mercenary. I like the idea that the storyline they were building there. The garage UI is horrible. I agree with that. But overall, Armored Core 4 is a lot of fun. I mean, they introduced fast-paced combat. They introduced Kojima particles. They introduced a lot of lore with, like, Fiona's dad, I believe, and, like, what's going on with him, and then Fiona and the Anatolian Mercenary, who we're going to ship always. They definitely leave happy and in love, obviously, right? Everyone knows this. Even with original White Glint being in this, and dude piloting White Glint, whose name is Joshua O'Brien. That's his name. Like, Joshua O'Brien is like the problem with 4's story, actually, is that apparently between the Japanese version and the North American version of the game, there's a lot of cut content, as in terms of, like, dialogue and like mission write-ups and stuff. So, like, you don't know why Joshua O'Brien turns on you at the end, and you find if you you know, I guess. I don't know how people figured this out. There's probably like some lore they read some article or something. He's they threatened to essentially destroy his hometown or home country unless he does this thing. So I think that that's probably the biggest falling for 4 for me, is that you don't get the full story and you don't know why things are happening, and the frame rate. But overall, I like Armored Core 4. I think it's a solid game. I've played it twice now, and I had a lot of fun with it. You know, the aesthetics and everything are good. The speed's good. Like, it's not quite as fast as 4 Answer, but it's in that direction. I like the mission layout. Overall, I think that Armored Core 4 deserves a B. Now, moving on. Armored Core 4 Answer. The pinnacle of the 4th generation of Armored Core. Fucking speed, bro. All the speed, all the time. Armored Core 4 Answer is a lot of fun. Arms Force, you have Arms Force, you have VOB, you have White Glint, and it's you know, true form. You have arguably the hardest. So real quick, Armored Core 4 has the Marsh Asa Police fight in Armored Core 4, so 1v4. 1v4? Yeah. It's a hard fight. And it's an interesting mechanic they introduced to the game that comes back in 4 Answer with the occupation mission, where you fight it's 1v4 then 1v5 on hard mode. Oh, that's another thing I didn't mention. 4th gen has normal and hard mode, and on normal mode you only get a portion of the story. On hard mode it fills in the blanks a lot more, which is good. I do like that. So Armored Core 4 Answer kicks the speed up to 1,000%. Adds in Arms Force. You have Answer, you have Mother Will, all these giant. You have Sigro, you have these giant, like, battles that you go through that are just really cool to experience. Like, free flying in 4 and 4 Answer, especially in 4 Answer, is so satisfying. It feels so good. Yeah, reward for getting good. Exactly. Giant robots to get one tap by blades. That is one weird thing about 4 Answer, is that Arms Force, like, if you hit him with a blade, you blow him up pretty quick, which is a weird mechanic to a point, but if you think about it, it kind of makes sense to an extent. But, I mean, you have they bring back the Anatolian Mercenary and Fiona for a brief mission with Linarch. Char is in Armored Core 4 Answer, essentially. Thermidor is Char. Orca's dope. I like Orca. I like this. The storyline of 4 Answer is good. I like all the characters. I like the way that the pacing of the game is. I like the multiple playthroughs, like I said before. That was one of the best parts about Last Raven, was multiple playthroughs. I like the multiple playthroughs in 4 Answer as well. There's a character, Swiss, that's very similar to Char and 4 Answer. And I'm probably forgetting to say some things about these games as I go through. It's a lot to remember. It's 15 games worth of content. Gallant Char starts playing. I wish it started playing. That'd be hilarious. We should have did that when we fought Thermidor. Oh, you also have Old King Lapdog. It has, I think, I want to say that Occupation of Arterial Carpals might be the hardest mission out of all of these games. It's a 2v5, but Old King's kind of just there and doesn't really help you. Yeah, that's his. Thermidor gets a red next whenever he goes to goes from Otstarva, who's also a Dark Souls character, to Thermidor. Also, Patches is introduced in 4 Answer for the first time ever. I think it's the first time ever, at least. Yeah. So 4 Answer is good. You know, I really like it. It's a fun game to play. Frustrating hard mode final mission that leads into 5, but you know, it's good. I liked it. So I think that 4 Answer overall for me is going to get an A tier. Again, takes everything from 4 and just does it better. So for me, Armored Core 4 Answer is A tier. I would play it again. Okay, so now I think we enter the part of the series that is more debated on whether it's good or bad. So we got Armored Core 5 and Vertigo. Generation 5 of Armored Core. I'll be honest with you guys. Going into Generation 5, I kind of expected to hate it. I thought the UI looked horrible from the videos I saw. I thought the combat looked weird. Well, I was fucking wrong. I liked Armored Core 5 a lot. I enjoyed every bit of it, actually. It was a great, fun playthrough. Like, the story was cool. I didn't really follow that. They do some weird time jumps, though, between order missions and story missions that confuse the hell out of me. And I forgot that RD was a bad guy in the end that you actually fight in the prologue and all kinds of shit like that. I mean, in terms of characters, Chief is the most memorable for me. Like, Chief is fucking badass. He snipes you. I love the fact when he shot me with that giant laser cannon, it just made me happy. It like just made me smile. Like it was so it was so fucking good. I actually ended up liking 5's combat a lot. I thought it was a cool different representation of Armored Core that felt the slower version felt good to me. 4 and 4 Answers speed kind of wore on me on my second playthrough of the games. Like it was cool, but it felt like it was all reaction versus like purposeful movement. Whereas in older games, N5 and Verdict Day, it felt more purposeful when you were doing something. Whereas 4 and 4 Answer were more like, oh shit, move quick this way and that way and this way and that way. And this, you know, for me at least. I like the heaviness of 5. Story mode was fine. Like I said, it was good. I like Chief. I like the idea that he's AI. I like the combat. I like the final boss fight. That was all good. Zodiac was cool. Didn't really know a lot about them, but they were still cool, like order mission side story, I guess we'll call it. It was a little incoherent in the storytelling though, which is unfortunate, but you have to freeze frame the playthrough video to tell what the heck an enemy is in 5 before the scan mode blurs them. Oh yeah, that's true, Sharks in Space. But it can become second nature once you play the game enough. To play 4 and 4 Answer, you need to have a head-on swivel. Exactly. Which is not a bad thing. It's just the way the game played. I think that overall for 5, though, I think that I'm going to give it a B tier. I think 5 was I think, as I just said. I liked 5. I think it was good. It deserves to be a solid B tier. I don't think it was a step back for the franchise at all. I think it was actually a pretty interesting step forward, and gave people something different. You know, the fact that you applied strategy to how you played, I like that. I think that's a really cool aspect to a mech game that would, you know, it would be applied if, let's say, in real life, I guess. You know, you flank enemies, you hop over buildings. Free flight was gone, but I feel like movement in 5 and Verdict Day, once you learn how to do it, you can move fucking fast. You can fly a lot. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I did forget about the prediction. Let's look at that real quick. Wow. Okay. So according to chat, 4 Answer deserved S tier. Really? Well, it's getting A tier for me. It's chat thinks it should be S tier. So it's A and a half. A plus tier, we'll call it. So moving on to the final game in the series, as of right now, Armored Core 5 Verdict Day. Again, it took everything from 5 and made it better. Like, Verdict Day increased the speed a little bit, to a good point, I think, actually, for the game. It had a much more cohesive story, and let me just tell you right now, Black Glint was one of the coolest boss fights. And the weird thing with Verdict Day, and 5 might have had DLC too. Verdict Day had DLC, so if you add the music DLC in. No, I paid out the right people. Oh shit, my bad. Here, vote again. All right, you know what? I don't know how predictions work. RP does predictions normally. I don't do them. My bad. That was the tier you guys thought it would be. My bad. My bad. What's up, Mallow? Anyways, back to Verdict Day. I think Verdict Day was really good. I enjoyed the story a lot. I thought it was really cool. The multiplayer aspect actually adds a lot to the game for me. It was fun to play through with a friend and experience the game in multiplayer, which I feel like was the way it was intended to be played in the first place. 4 Answers as subconsciously you know to be true. No, it's not. It's A. But overall for Verdict Day, I think it was a really good game. The final boss fight, especially with the music DLC, was so fucking hype. It was a great send-off for Gen 4 and Gen 5. And overall, like I said, I enjoyed the game. It had good music. It had everything you could want from it. I like the combat. I like all the different parts. I mean, the damage types grew on me after a while. I thought it was kind of cool to have a varied build and deal with, you know, whatever was coming. So I think for Verdict Day, it is going to sit nicely into the A tier for me. So Mal, your top 5 is Last Raven, Silent Line, 3 and 4 Answer, and 2. Okay. This just tells you we have to do more polls now, Cookie. We do. I'm sorry that I paid out the wrong people. My bad. We'll call it a fail and move on. You didn't need those points anyway. If AC6 pops off and budgets go up, you think co-op would be a big plus for me in a sequel or DLC? I agree, Dirk Donk. But with that is my Armored Core full series tier list. So we have Armored Core 3 and Last Raven at the S tier. We have Armored Core 1, 4 Answer, Verdict Day at A tier. Armored Core 2, Silent Line, Nexus, 4 and 5 at B tier. Project Fantasma, Master of Arena, and Another Age at C tier. Formula Front at D tier. And Armored Core 9 Breaker at the Fail tier. I saw Fail a lot during that game because of 9-ball. So, I mean, overall, guys, I really enjoyed the game. The games. Playing through this series was a blast. It got me so excited for 6. And I'm happy that I was able to share all that with you guys. And I'm happy that I was able to return to a childhood game that I loved so much and found a bunch of people who also love it. And I can't wait to see what comes with Armored Core 6. You know, we'll see where it sits on this tier list by the end of it. I'm hoping it's sitting up at S tier with Armored Core 3 and Last Raven, which it has potential to do. So overall, that is the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you're watching on YouTube what you think in the comments. What is your tier list? Well, how do you rank the games? How do you feel about it? And I will see you guys in, hopefully, for some Armored Core 6 gameplay. And also, don't forget, 5 and Verdict Day are still coming out on the channel. So if you want to check them out, by all means, check them out. We do have a viewer build stream that's coming Tuesday. So that would be June 20th is going to be the final stream of Armored Core 5 Verdict Day. So it all should be good. So as always, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this adventure with me of going through the entire series. I will see you in Armored Core 6, like I said. So as always, thank you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.